Hello everybody, welcome to BrickVault. Today we've added a few more lightsaber hilt models to the ever-growing collection of custom LEGO lightsaber designs. From the builder, Louis Meany, aka Built Bricks, we have in front of us the double-bladed hilt of old Master Maul's saber, his brother's double saber, that being the hilt of Asajj Opress, and then not a double-bladed hilt, but instead the double sabers of Asajj Ventress, which can also actually be connected into double-bladed sabers anyways. The official, unofficial expert on LEGO lightsaber hilts, Built Bricks, really researches each design and then uses expert building techniques to knock out some great looking models. As of the making of this video, there are 32 different lightsaber combinations in our care, with more on the way. Each launch video for the hilts usually has like an underlying theme, and this time around, Wave 7, I believe, of lightsaber launches, the general theme we have here is Darkside users from the Clone Wars. Before I jump into each of these builds though, first I do want to say that the instructions for all of these hilts and a ton more can be found at our web store, BrickVault.toys. With each purchase comes the PDF step-by-step guide for building, a parts list for fast ordering online. The models are physically tested for strength, instructions are tested for the ease of building, and parts are checked for rarity. In the case of the sabers, we also include some PNG graphics if you'd like to print names onto display placards. Getting instructions is an excellent way to help support the channel and the talented designers we work with like Built Bricks, so click that link in the description below if you want to build any of these models. And okay, let's start off with Asajj Ventress' sabers. Too many S's. Not only do I think she is one of the most interesting characters of the Clone Wars show, but I consider her one of the better duelists seen on screen. She holds her own time and time again against the top lightsaber wielders on both the light side and the dark side. She's got that particularly aggressive fighting style and the technique to back it up. As an acolyte of Count Dooku, her hilt design takes on a curved shape, though her double hilts, have a bit more of a dramatic angle here. The LEGO design achieves this with some clever alternating clip connections that naturally want to line up with the gradual sloping of the hilt. There is some thinner tile segmenting towards the head of either hilt that works really well, and an activation switch on the opposite side. This simple red switch is, I think, also a design choice directly taken from her Master's saber. Now the butts of the hilts have some smaller buttons and a single round tile at the very bottom, and here you can technically stud the handles together like they are a single double-bladed hilt, but this is basically just for show. One stud of connection is as strong as you might imagine it to be, with two decently heavy LEGO builds on either end, and it's fine for displaying on a surface and basically not much more. Now the last unique note on this model is the flexible hoses that line up on either end of the handle. They like to straighten out over time, so I bend them back every once in a while, and ultimately these are two very strong, very clean builds that accomplish one of the more subtly difficult saber designs to pull off in bricks. Now next here is the second saber of Maul. The official title of this build is Old Master Maul's saber, as this was something he wielded only well after he left the Sith. Now at first glance, it appears that it could be only a single bladed build, but with a closer look, you can see the opening for the second blade. You might recognize that this isn't a particularly unique design at all. Maul basically just modified a slightly damaged Inquisitor hilt, presumably after he took them out. When you line this up with the hilt of the Grand Inquisitor, the similarities are unmistakable. A portion of the ring still remains along with some of the barbs, but here they have now been just rearranged. The only detail that technically outlines any previous damage is right at the end of the curved arm. It's a little crooked here, and in universe this is a little bit of like a cracked or jagged edge. The handle is smooth with a few operational buttons, and the whole thing lines up very well in terms of accuracy. The shaping around either blade opening looks great, and the built-in stripe-like details in the center feel pretty spot on. Now the physical handling is fairly decent. The body of the build is extremely strong with only delicate areas belonging to the extremities. If you bump the curved bit against something, it is likely to snap off, and the smaller bits are also just held on by a stud. so it's easy to put all back together, and ultimately it's a straightforward model that's fairly casual to handle. Alright, now in a universe where the bad guys have names like Plagueis, Sidious, and Grievous, let's move on to the least subtle bad guy name ever, Asajj Ventress. The younger brother of Maul was a fast-learning, extremely brutal Zabrak and became a big force to reckon with once given the super strength and raw connection to the Force through the Night Sisters. His double-sided lightsaber has some satisfying design homage to the other characters, though it's hard to make a lore connection here. The grip in the handle has familiar black vertical struts like seen on Yoda's or more closely Anakin's hilt, and the same character homage can also be applied to the slanted opening around either blade end, plus the attachment rings, both still very close to Anakin's saber at the time, though I'm unsure how Savage could have been inspired by him to take on these design aesthetics, at least like within universe. Now the last clear similarity in build to any of the other saber designs are the pointed curves that reach to the farthest on either end. This is fairly close to how Dooku's saber looks, and outside of that the whole thing is a decently ergonomic build with minimal buttons that are mostly out of the way from the center of the handle. The LEGO techniques are easy to access here with no fancy curveballs required to achieve the final shapes, and I think the thin black wheels towards the ends were tastefully used to give just a bit of extra accuracies. Now for the handling, the model stays together all well and good. The wheel I mentioned is a connection that pins the head on with a long bar on the inside. This gives you a little bit of wiggle here, but fortunately no bowing or breaking. Outside of that, it's a pretty casual long build to handle. And then moving on to the displays for all three of the sabers. Each display stand has a little extension option if you'd like to add a printed name placard for extra detailing, and currently now the collection of sabers in total here is over 30. It's really fun to approach a custom LEGO design video through the characters first, and let me know what you think about these builds in the comments below. Like always though, let me know what kinds of creations you'd like to see built in the future. If you enjoy our content, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share, do whatever it is that you want to do. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.